else you want to share tonight about your experience?
No, I was just so impressed.
Well,
thanks very much.
Thanks for the call. It's great to have you here in New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project, and appreciate hearing the story tonight. 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number. Well, isn't it just wonderful,
I felt similarly, I think, when I moved. I just remember that.
You had a carload of stuff, too, right? It
overwhelming.
wasn't a big move for you?
And my roommates helped me move in, but it was no big deal. And I just remember, after meeting everyone, just sort of being overwhelmed with the sense of, I really like it here. I like how everyone is just super welcoming and nice, and when people find out that you just moved, they just seem very interested in you as a person.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's your story, right? I mean, everybody who comes to New Hampshire is part of the Free State Project, and we'll explain what that is here in a moment. But everybody who comes here, they all have a path that they're on, right? And some, that path leads out of New Hampshire again. Some people move here, they then have to go somewhere else. I know our friend Meg, who used to be on this show, she had to go and take care of her dying grandfather, and he just passed away now. So maybe she'll be coming back soon. So, everybody's got their individual path to liberty, and what was it that led them not just to the ideas of freedom, but then eventually to the Free State Project. And it's just so exciting when new people come here, and it just seems to be accelerating.
We're all here for different reasons, but really the same reason.
Ultimately, the reason of freedom. 855-450-FREE. We'll tell you more about the Free State Project and also return to the e-cigarette story. 855-450-FREE. You can also take control here. This is Free Talk Live.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better, no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Liberty activists around the country are starting to realize politics alone won't set us free. So what will? At Liberty on the Rocks, we believe the answer starts with living your principles, spreading ideas, and connecting with those around you. By starting a Liberty on the Rocks network, you can make a difference by uniting libertarian thinkers. Find out how much fun it is to build your local network from the ground up. Visit libertyontherocks.org today to get started.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Cody O'Connor from Off the Air Live, and the only thing I believe in making you do is laugh yourself silly. And what am I doing here but trying to tell you about how I'm bringing comedy to LRN.FM. This show is all about me saying things on the radio that you're not supposed to say on the radio. How I treat my radio show is a lot like my position on immigration. Literally no boundaries. And boy, do we cover it all, from news, politics, culture, music, whatever the hell you want to talk about. And you'll hear me praise a lot of the things that I like every once in a while, like, boobs, beer. But I'll spend a lot of time ranting about the things that I hate. Like stupid people in the government. I guess it is kind of redundant, huh? And besides that, we do take your calls. We're pretty much everything that a real radio show is, plus more swearing. You hear Off the Air Live every Thursday and Saturday night at 10 p.m. on LRN.FM. And if that's not enough, you can go to offtheairlive.com and get all of the archives.
This is the most recent episode of Free Talk Live, presented by Sekel CAI. Get interactive at freetalklive.com.
E-cigarettes, apparently the new thing to hate. We're going to get deeper into the story about some critics attacking the advertising now for e-cigarettes. We've also seen news, and I've got the story here about Los Angeles banning the use of e-cigarettes in the same places where cigarettes are banned. So these things are under attack from all fronts. And it's really tragic because they're an amazing invention and more people should know about them. 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number if you want to share your experience. Maybe you've been an e-cigarette user and you have experienced these people, whoever these critics are. Are they the kind of people... You know how some people can be nasty to a cigarette smoker?
Yes.
I'm sure you've experienced this, Allie, as someone who is a cigarette smoker. But
people, some of them really who... I don't know if it's more likely to be someone who quit smoking or someone who's not really been around a lot of smoking, but there's some people who just hate smokers and smoking so much that they take out all that aggression on anyone they see with a cigarette in their hand. They just feel that it is their job to try to convert that person into hating cigarettes as much as they do.
Right, or at the very least, they just want to be rude and nasty to somebody who's smoking up this whatever, room or place or outside of a doorway. Or just they want to say something. They want to mold the world in the way they want it, and they have something to say. I wonder if they do that to e-cigarette users too. Are people
probably
who use e-cigarettes experiencing that same derision from the critics? Certainly, it's happening in more public forums. Like, for instance, the banning of the use of the e-cigarettes. There are certain people who are pushing this. I'm just wondering if it has kind of trickled down to in-your-face confrontations over this. Like, how dare you use that e-cigarette around my child? You're just encouraging them to smoke.
Well, I'm sure it has, because I've heard stories of people using their e-cigarette inside, like in a mall or something, and that they have been harassed because of it. So sure, I'm sure it happens all the time.
Tell your story if you have one to share. 855-450-FREE. I said we'd help you out getting Bitcoins. Well, the first step to getting Bitcoins, or fractions of Bitcoins, depending on how much you have to spend, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. But when you want to get Bitcoins, you have to have a wallet. And blockchain.info has a wallet for you. In fact, it is probably the best online wallet you can find. Blockchain.info. Go there and get signed up. They've actually opened over 1 million wallets for people, and it's free to have a Bitcoin wallet from blockchain.info. Plus, they've got a handy Android app that makes it very easy to send and receive Bitcoin. But if you don't have an Android phone, if you got an iPhone or a Windows phone or BlackBerry, you can use the website blockchain.info. They're building an HTML5 app that I'm told has been completed, or maybe they're still working on it. But blockchain.info, you can use their website on your smartphone to do the same thing that the app does. Just the app is a little bit more convenient. Blockchain also has tools to make it easy to send and receive your Bitcoins anonymously It's time for you to join millions of other Bitcoin users and get your free Bitcoin wallet today at blockchain.info. So, Allie, let's go further into this. Apparently, people are upset. Some people, the busybodies of the world, some of them are upset at the e-cigarette advertising, which they say is so cool that it's going to attract kids to smoking.
Yes, and we were talking before about which rules have already been applied to advertising of cigarettes, and this article does cover a few of those. They include bans on sports sponsorships, cartoon characters, flavors, and TV advertising, specifically TV.
And radio as well.
Okay.
Yep.
So blue e-cigs use a cartoon character named Mr. Cool in a television campaign. And, the article writer notes that this is familiar with what some cigarette industry, ads have done in the past with their, I think, what do they use? Like a cartoon camel. Yeah. Vince Wilmore of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids says these messages attract youth, especially the Sports Illustrated bikini ad. It's going to appeal to teenage boys, he says. Blue maker Lorillard has not. Lorillard is also the maker of Newport cigarettes, by the way. Blue maker Lorillard has not responded to NPR's request for comment. Blue's website asks if you're 18 to enter, and ads say not for minors. Wilmore says, nonetheless, they re-glamorize smoking and threaten to reverse decades of progress in preventing kids from getting hooked. See, the thing is, I don't even know how one could try, unless you just want to ban any kind of advertising of anything that could be harmful for children. I don't know how you could distinguish between advertising for kids and advertising for adults. I mean, if you would think that an adult magazine like Sports Illustrated, that advertising there, I don't see why that would be so controversial. Maybe if it was playing on Nickelodeon, I could see people feeling creeped out by that.
Nickelodeon's totally not going to accept ads for e-cigarettes.
Exactly.
That's just not going to be happening. Well, I mean, okay, so we kind of talked about this during a break, but I think it's worth mentioning on the air. I guess kids are probably still looking at Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. I know we certainly did when I was younger. I mean, that was a very interesting thing to a young teenager or a young boy or whatever. However, we're now living in the internet age where why would you need a magazine to go and get pictures of girls in bikinis or naked ladies? I mean, it's not hard to find that content. Now every young person who has a smartphone has a myriad of bikini photos at their fingertips.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that some teenage boys or minors are going to see this ad.
Yes.
But my question is, how can they be upset with the blue e-cigarette makers for running an ad in an adult magazine and saying kids could see that?
Well, that's just it. Anywhere that a child could see something, they're going to get upset about it.
And they don't get upset at people who advertise beer and alcohol and other bad things.
They may get upset about those things. I mean, we don't know who we're talking about here. A lot of these people are control freaks.
That's true. They might be just as upset about that.
And I believe alcohol is something you can advertise in magazines, but
you can advertise on TV.
Yeah. So it's only cigarettes that they've banned from television and radio.
This Wilmore guy says kids may view them as something they can use that's not going to harm their health without realizing they contain very addictive nicotine, Wilmore says.
Right, because kids are just so ignorant. Kids have no idea about those e-cigarettes. Those wouldn't have nicotine in them. I mean, come on, really? Are we expected to believe that young people do not understand this? Okay, maybe a 5-year-old wouldn't understand that there's nicotine in an e-cigarette, but what teenager wouldn't understand that?
They actually quote a teenager, Thomas Mason, who's 16, thinks they're beneficial. They quote him, and the e-cigarette is like flavored nicotine. So far as I think that nicotine is supposed to help you stop smoking, Mason says. That perception worries Tom Frieden, director of U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Like the kid said that that nicotine is supposed to help you quit smoking. It's true. And in a lot of cases when people use the e-cigarette, they're using that nicotine to quit smoking. I'm not sure where the emphasis is put.
Yeah, it's a strange sentence, but even in his misunderstanding, let's presume he's slightly misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Even in his misunderstanding, what he does understand is that the e-cigarette can help people quit smoking.
And he also understands that it contains nicotine.
Right, and so that's the opposite of the scare, this kind of fear factor that they're introducing. that's the opposite of the idea that, oh, well, kids are going to use this and start smoking again. It's going to glamorize smoking. Well, no, this young person understands that using an e-cigarette can help quit smoking, and most people in their teenage years understand the value of not smoking. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's not like this is a hidden message in society. Cigarette smoking is definitely on the outs as far as popularity is concerned. It has declined in its popularity over 100 years significantly.
You know, and I've looked at studies or polls which say that it's gone down in use among teenagers or, young people. But from my experience, I see a lot of young people smoking, like a lot more than old people. I think a lot of old people are quitting, and so I'd believe that maybe cigarette purchases are going down on average, but I see a lot of young people smoking.
I wonder about that, because I've certainly heard that it has gone down over time. Maybe it's still significant, but down from what it's been in the past. You're welcome to share your thoughts here, 855-450-FREE. Are there some more interesting quotes? Because this is the kind of news story where
there's a little bit of back and forth between the people who are advocates of the e-cig and people who are critics.
I definitely want to hear the critics. I want to hear what they have to say. So will you share some of that when we come back here in a moment? 855-450-FREE is the toll-free number, and you can share your thoughts on whatever's on your mind. Are e-cigarettes attracting young people to smoking? This is Free Talk Live.
If you are like most people, chances are you're malnourished. Most people do not get the 90 essential nutrients the body needs to survive. This lack of nutrition can lead to all sorts of health issues. If you don't feel as good as you'd like, or if you're looking to get a jump start on a new, healthier you, Youngevity has your answer. With the Healthy Start Pack, you get all the nutrients your body needs. With all 90 essential nutrients and 115 fruits and vegetables, you get a supplement system that is antioxidant rich and beyond compare. The Healthy Start Pack includes products backed by 40 years of science and millions of dollars in research, like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, EFA Plus 90, and OsteoFX Plus. To order your Healthy Start Pack today, call 607-739-5595. Again, that number is 607-739-5595. Once you start taking the Healthy Start Pack, you will see and feel why our motto is 90 for life.
Are you looking for camping, hunting, survival, or shooting gear? ManVentureOutpost.com carries the name brands you want at the lowest prices. Ammunition, knives, firearm accessories, archery, air guns, scopes, binoculars, laser sights, tactical flashlights, fish finders, and boating equipment. ManVentureOutpost.com is family-owned and has the lowest prices. Go check it for yourself. Get it quick. Get it from ManVentureOutpost.com.
Now buy firearms at ManVentureOutpost.com.
Did you know that you can listen to LRN.FM 24/7 via our free-to-air at LRN.FM?
Free Press Publications is an independent alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary at fpp.cc, as well as weekly news in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com. The monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc and books at shop.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Shiny badges on your jacket. Shiny badges start a conversation with your neighbor or your doctor or your family or your school. Now there's teachers and lawyers and business executives, and they all wear shiny badges and they all reject the state. Shiny badges on your jacket. Shiny badges show the world that you reject coercion and aggression and oppression by the state. ShinyBadges.com.
Now, more of the freshest episode of Free Talk Live, presented by Sekel CAI. Listen online at freetalklive.com.
This is Free Talk Live, and of course, you can bring up whatever you want here toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us online. Just go to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that we have waiting for you there on the site. You can actually create the content as well. So when you go to freetalklive.com, you see the stories there on the front page. There's news articles, sometimes YouTube videos. Maybe you want to put up, some sort of fun post. Whatever it is you think's interesting, whatever you think our listeners would find valuable, entertaining, interesting, you put it up on the website, and then it becomes subject to voting. And it's the system of Reddit. So if you're familiar with Reddit, you know how this works. Reddit is a kind of an upvoting, downvoting, social bookmarking website, and we've integrated Reddit right into the front page of our website. So if you've got a Reddit account, which is free, and a Free Talk Live account, which is also free, you just link the two accounts together in a very short process when you go to freetalklive.com, and that makes it easy for you to submit content and then vote it up or down, whether you like or dislike. And then we will see what you think is interesting, and it makes it easy for us to figure out what our audience thinks is useful. So go to freetalklive.com and you can get interactive there. More about the e-cigarette critics here. They are on the attack again, and they're being emboldened too. I mean, they're having success. We haven't gotten into the details yet, but Los Angeles has banned the use of e-cigarettes from pretty much the same places where cigarettes have been banned. So these people who believe that e-cigarettes are this path to the devil for young children, that young people are going to see these ads for e-cigarettes and they're going to want to start smoking, is kind of the idea here, is that they're going to see e-cigarettes, they're going to think smoking is cool, they're going to go off and start smoking cigarettes at some point. That's
it may be true that there are young people out there who are thinking where e-cigarettes might appeal more than smoking cigarettes would, but I think that there are healthy reasons for that. Like, if I had a child, I'd rather them use an e-cig than smoke cigarettes, because part of what's so dangerous about cigarettes, which is where people get all these crazy numbers like 4,000 chemicals, has to do with the fact that you're lighting it on fire. You're creating, chemical reaction in which a lot of chemicals are created that weren't there before you lit it, and also the heat is bad for you each time you use a cigarette. Think of all that what you're the actual smoke you're introducing into your system, and the tar. E-cigarette is just, it's vaporizing, which is already would be better. Even if you're vaporizing tobacco, it would be better than lighting tobacco on fire. But not just that, doesn't have tobacco. It's just
it's never enough though, Allie. I mean, all the points you're making are great points, but the critics, they just hate nicotine.
It has to be just because it looks like smoking. They wouldn't be opposed to Nicorette, having
point.
Commercials, or wouldn't be opposed to someone having commercials for the patch.
Why aren't Nicorette this gum, right? Nicotine gum, basically. It's a delivery system for nicotine, an alternative delivery system that people use presumably to quit smoking. Why isn't that under attack?
Because it doesn't look like smoking.
Doesn't
have the same appeal, but
isn't gum chewing cool for teens? I mean, couldn't that in theory? I don't know. I guess I get what you're saying though. The idea being that since e-cigarette use mimics the process of smoking, that would somehow move young people into actual smoking. I want to get to more quotes here in a moment, but let's go to the phones first. We do have Dave on the line in Nevada on the amp lines. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, go ahead.
Along with protecting kids against those dangerous e-cigarette ads, what Facebook is trying to do now is protect kids against gun advertisements. I guess with pressure from these moms against or moms demand action. I don't know if that name's long enough, but just probably like 5, moms in their basement. Them and Bloomberg's the group there, the Mayors Against Guns or whatever, put some pressure on Facebook to do something. I guess there's, Facebook obviously doesn't sell guns, but there's ads on there. Like one of the ones I came across was like Texas gun ads or something, and people will post kind of ads on there so they can get in touch with those people to buy guns. So I guess one of the things that they're doing, among other things, is people under 18 cannot see them. I guess you would have to, when you get a Facebook account, put your age, and I guess that's how it would know. But I guess they're blocking ads to people under 18.
Well, see, I guess that's a better response than just, closing down anyone's profile who puts anything about guns up there on Facebook.
Well, now, hold on, Dave, just to clarify. Are they blocking advertising or are they blocking groups about guns? Or both?
What they're saying now, and there's a whole bunch of different articles about it in the past week, what they're saying now from what I've read is that they're blocking advertisements from people under 18. And then it's kind of sketchy about people selling illegal guns and saying that, well, if they're selling guns without a background check, which is actually not illegal unless it's from a federally licensed dealer. That's the laws are.
Maybe.
If you buy from
I don't want to say what is and what is not illegal, but I know that there are different laws in different states. So maybe in Nevada.
It depends on the state.
What's that?
Sorry, it depends on the state, but.
Right. Yeah, like if you're in New York, I highly doubt that New York personal gun sales are legal. Highly doubt that.
No, it's not. That's one of the states that's actually pushing it. But if on a federal level, what the federal law says is that if you're a federally licensed dealer, you have to do a background check. And then, of course, like you said, a state can make additional laws on that in the case of. So, like
here in New Hampshire, for sure, I know that you can just sell a gun to somebody, a person-to-person gun transaction. Again, my understanding of the law is that's completely illegal here, but in a place like California or New York, you probably would be committing a felony by doing that very same action. So it's certainly not Facebook's job to enforce the law, but I can understand why they would feel like they want to be cautious in this area. Is it your belief that these ads should be shown to children?
Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous because it's an ad. It's not where, Facebook is not selling the gun themselves. Mm-hmm. They're just, they're blocking these ads from kids. And to see an ad, it doesn't mean that the person's going to sell it to them. It's just seeing basically, okay, well, they're selling a gun. It's not saying, hey, come, buy this gun. If you're under 18, I'm going to illegally sell it to you. And then it kind of goes into the states where, it's saying, well, if you're trying to sell a gun in a state where it's illegal in that state, I don't know how they actually keep up with that. I guess if somebody flags it and says, well, this person is trying to sell this gun in this state, because like you said, some states it's illegal, some states it's not. In Nevada, it's illegal where you can do a person gun sale as long as you're not a federally licensed dealer. So I don't know how they'd, track that except for people flagging it. But it seems like it's part of the, how they're trying to demonize guns and say, we don't want kids to see this because we need to keep pushing that guns are evil. It's
probably not a particular, just from a market perspective, it's probably not a particularly effective market segment to advertise to. One of the nice things about Facebook ads, and I don't buy Facebook ads anymore just because I don't want to give money to Facebook, but we used to do advertising with Free Talk Live on Facebook, and one of the nice things about Facebook is that you can target people based on age, you can target people based on location, you can target based on interests. So I could target, if I were a gun dealer and I wanted to sell guns, get people interested in buying my guns, I could target only people that have an interest in guns or people that have an interest in a specific brand of gun. You know how Facebook, you can like all kinds of different things. Well, if somebody likes, Ruger, and I want to target those people for selling guns, I could totally do that with Facebook. So I can't even imagine that somebody who's selling guns would be interested in the under 18 market segment. Most of those people aren't really good customers. I mean, they can't even buy the gun.
But for what I understand, it's not even like Facebook doesn't accept actual, like if you're a gun store, they're not going to advertise. From what I understand, it's people if I create a page.
I actually have their policy right up here on the website. Prohibited content. Ads and sponsored stories may not contain content that is illegal or otherwise prohibited via Facebook's advertising guidelines. Prohibited content includes tobacco products that you cannot promote tobacco or tobacco-related products. Which I believe includes, it does include electronic cigarettes, weapons, so they may not promote firearms, ammunition, even paintball guns, BBs, guns, fireworks, explosives, pepper spray, knives, tasers, or weapons of any kind, including those used for self-defense. Ads and sponsored stories may not directly or indirectly link to landing pages where people can purchase any of these products. And apparently, you can have certain groups, but you have to be careful about how you advertise it. So they say you can have gun exposition today. That's acceptable, but unacceptable, get your ammo here. So they say that it's okay if you can connect people to those connect people who have those interests, so long as it's not leading to the sale of weapons or explosives. So there's some more information for you, Dave. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. And it's a private website. If you don't like the rules, don't use Facebook, right?
That's right.
From the admission of Ant Colony 000082567 KLN 00067X into the Union in 1897, to the day in 1817 when embarrassed construction workers realized they put the Erie Canal in the wrong place. The Onion looks back at This Week in History.